Morning.
Good morning, Paul.
And it is morning.
It is, yeah. Yeah, bright and early.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that's bright and early to me. So.
Although I've been up for 3.5 hours anyway.
Yeah, I have too. I went to bed at 8 o'clock last night, so.
Week 1's in the books.
It is. It is, and I don't know if you checked the harvest dashboard at some big numbers, Paul.
What is it?
Almost 25,000 deer have been tagged
Holy
so far.
smokes.
24,892.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's been a really busy week.
Well, we were at the tagging station on the way out.
There was a line.
We were in line.
Yeah, in northern Maine.
There's two guys ahead of us. She said yours was the biggest that day.
Yeah. Excuse me.
All right, well, we'll get to that story in a minute.
Yeah.
In our first week, I got a couple emails this week. So Brian Hebert, you know Brian? His wife shot an opening day buck.
Excellent.
But the pretty cool thing with that is it's her 4th buck in 5 years.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah, she's killing it.
Yeah.
Told him that.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. He's got a passion for it, Paul. And obviously she does too.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it is.
And then Greg James. Name sound familiar?
Yes, it does. I know.
He said, he got an email from him. He's a guy from Grand Lake Stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He shot a nice 8-pointer
Good for him.
the other day. But it was an interesting story. This buck he saw 2 years ago had a broken rear leg. Just below the knee. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
So he tried to harvest it and couldn't. And then last year, didn't see it. And he figured, well, nature took its course. Didn't make it. This year, he shoots a nice 8-pointer, and it's got a rear leg that's healed, funky. He goes, I'm pretty sure it was the same buck.
The same deer.
Leg.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. So his question was, it had a nice rack, but it only weighed 150 pounds. Felt it was kind of light. He's like, you don't suppose that broken rear leg had anything to do with that? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, it certainly could. I mean, they if they're healthy and obviously they can in my way of thinking it'd be easier for them to put on weight to procure food and stuff than I'm no biologist or anything, but it certainly would have a big effect on their survival. Period.
Well, I mean, the deer survived.
Right.
They healed up.
Right.
I didn't think it would as much.
Yeah.
Because looking at the pictures of the deer, like the deer was thriving.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're probably right.
It takes a lot of energy to grow antlers.
It does.
And
yeah,
his
it's
coat,
just what it's just what it was going to be.
And his coat looked good.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I think my first, and it's human nature, our first gut reaction is like, man, broken leg, that'd be tough to survive. Yeah, that would be the thing with it to actually survive with that, because they have got to be 100%. And even then, a lot of them don't survive. So, but you see, it's not uncommon. I shouldn't say it's not uncommon, but see deer with 3 legs.
Yeah.
If you watch a dog that's had an amputation or something get around, it's amazing how they can adapt.
Yeah.
And get through deer with gunshot wounds.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. And it shows you just how resilient those animals are. And we've talked about this before. We can kind of anthropomorphize animals. Because we've kind of, it's us humans have gotten a little bit soft.
Yeah, pretty much.
We don't like pain, discomfort. We were talking about that.
Yeah, we don't like to be out of our comfort zone and stuff.
Yeah. And the body has a natural way of, as I was thinking about this deer, the body has a natural way of dealing with that. And pain at its very basic is just a perception, right? So you have to have a cortex, a cerebral cortex, to really be able to perceive pain.
Right.
That's all it is a perception. If you can block the signal getting to the brain, there's no pain. So there's a couple natural mechanisms there for the deer. One is you have endogenous opioids. So they're compounds in our body that are naturally painkillers, endorphins. And then 2, the mind can filter out pain.
Yes.
can filter out certain things. And so there's another mechanism right there for an animal to cope with something like a broken leg or pain like that. It can filter out that stimuli, kind of down-regulate it.
Yeah.
So, and we can do that if you hurt yourself, a toothache or something like that. The more you think about it,
the worse
it is. If you can preoccupy your thoughts with something else, or get yourself in a real stressful situation, those endorphins kick in.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have no pain.
Yeah.
So there's a natural way to deal with it. But yeah, you think of it just at face value, you're like, man, tough life to go with a leg that's completely busted up. But yeah, I think it was just sometimes a deer's just that's the size they're going to be.
Yeah.
I was telling them, we hunted one area where we shot mature bucks.
Yeah.
And they just 150, 160 pounds.
Yeah.
Some had beautiful racks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just didn't grow that big. So, but yeah, it was a great story. And it was amazing that he harvested it. Nice. It had a nice rack on it.
Yeah.
Real nice rack.
So that was downstate.
Yeah. I don't know where he,
yeah,
I assume wherever he hunts. I'm not sure where he hunts.
I do believe that a deer like that would have a lot less chance of survival in northern Maine and
deep snow and stuff like that. First winter.
Because like I say, even they've got to be on the top of their game. We're on the edge of survival up here if they're perfectly healthy.
Yeah. So,
yeah, and anything that would diminish that in any way, physical detriment would, coyotes would then gain the advantage. And
But and then just to mention, just so we can reiterate that pain does have an evolutionary, or it has a natural purpose in us. And that's, it's not just there. It's not maladaptive.
Right.
It's there to, whatever site's injured, you favor it, you protect it.
Right.
So it'll heal.
Yeah.
If you didn't have any pain, keep using it, it's not going to heal.
Yeah.
Or it's going to take longer to heal. So there is a natural reason for it. But yeah, a pretty cool story.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad for Greg.
Yeah, I'll put some pictures
He was
up.
a really interesting guy. Nice gentleman. Yeah, talked to him up in the woods.
Yeah. And I was going to say, so we were driving into the woods. Someone hollered on the radio, said hi.
Yes.
And I tried to holler back, and I was out of reach.
Yeah.
So they couldn't hear me. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. So I did hear you, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Tried to say hi, but couldn't get through. But yeah, so we went up, what was it, Wednesday?
Yes, Wednesday morning. You picked me up about 7:10, Paul.
So what happened Thursday morning?
Well,
Mark shot a deer. That's the podcast. Get outside, screech the soul.
Yeah, that's the short version.
Yeah.
Yeah. The long version is we went into an area that we'd seen a doe there, Paul, the very first day, Residence Day.
Yeah, and lots of buck sign.
And there was buck sign there. So that, and what's interesting too is I had killed my first 200-pounder in there in the exact same spot in 1988. So that's 27 years ago. And we've come full circle. We've avoided that spot for, after the bad winters of the 2007 to 2010, the herd took a big hit up in the North Maine woods. Took a hit everywhere, but up there especially. So this is our second year back up there. We went up last year for one day.
Yeah.
And drove through and saw a deer sign.
Shot a deer.
Yeah, and you shot a deer, not in that same area, but not far from it.
As the crow flies, it wasn't
not far from it. So we thought, and you've been up in the woods all summer long and all fall, and we've been seeing some deer,
really everywhere.
Yeah.
Across the roofs of Canada.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
Right out here.
Exactly.
I mean.
Yeah, but up in the big woods especially because the deer population up there, like I say, the last 15 years has been really low.
Yeah.
Been really low. The township that I shot it in, I did a quick search, and I went back 10 years on the department's harvest, and I think there was one deer shot in that township in the last 10 years in 2023.
Yeah.
So it was kind of neat to shoot a deer in a township that has only seen one deer killed in it in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a few deer up there now. That being said, there's not
a lot of land in between.
Yeah, there's not the deer densities are not anything to. It is tough hunting.
You really got to do your homework.
You do,
or have some sort of
idea. You do
what's going on.
Yeah, you do your homework and put your time in.
Yeah.
And
so what happened that morning?
Well, you went up in one area, and I.
There's a road that parallels the road we drove on.
Right.
And I was gonna circle up around to that upper road.
Right.
Which would be to the east.
Yes.
Yeah,
and you were going to work your way down to me, and I was going up. Like I say, we had seen a deer, a doe, in this. I say a cut, but it was like a select cut. They'd left the hardwoods, so there was a lot of open area, but some mature trees and stuff, and a lot of raspberries. And I assume the deer were in there for that reason, because there's a lot of thick woods around there with very little feed in it. So anything that's opened up and cut draws all the game to it, the moose and the deer and stuff. And so I just went up over the bank, and I was going slow, and I was thinking to myself as I went, if there's a benefit to getting old or older, that you tend to take it easy. Yeah. You don't push as hard. And I was probably doing the things better than I did at 25, as far as going slow and looking.
Yeah.
Because you just don't want to wear yourself out in the first 2 hours. You understand that you want to save something for later on, and you don't have the wind that you used to have. So I was hunting well, I think. I was going slow, and I was quiet, and I was looking, and not covering a lot of ground. And I see something move.
It was windy.
It was very windy.
We had wind every day.
Yeah, it was very windy. So all the grass, there was a lot of grass and raspberries growing up in the select cut. Everything was moving and going and stuff. And I see what I thought, or something caught my eye kind of off to my left. And I thought it was, I looked over real quick, and I thought, that's just grass moving, which it was. It was. And then I saw the reason the grass was moving. It was moving more than the other grass around it from, the wind blowing. It was a deer's head going up and down. And I don't know. At first, my initial thought was he's making a rub.
Yeah.
Because his head was going up and down. I could see very little of the deer. Just I caught an eyeball and a part of the head and an antler and stuff. And I thought, oh, that's a deer. And he doesn't know I'm here. He had no idea I was there.
Those are the best scenarios.
And then I could see the ball. He moved a little bit, and I waited. I could see him in different angles and stuff. And so then I thought, well, he's probably feeding on. There was a blowdown there, and he may have been feeding on the old man's beard, and it was a hardwood tree. They had taken all the softwood out of there. Anything they left was just a hardwood. And so I waited until he got in an angle that I could see the body. I could see his head good, and I could see the body, and I shot him. Yeah, and
you waited till he got a little. You said he stepped forward.
Exactly. Yeah. He was actually kind of moving towards me, which was a good thing. Yeah, but like I say, he had no idea that I was there, and I thought that was pretty neat. And like I say, looking back, and I may have not been as stealthy. We talked about that, how you can kind of lose concentration as the day goes on, Paul.
Yeah.
And you can be really focused the first few hours, and then you can get kind of complacent, and you say, well, I'm really not hunting anymore.
No, I find myself.
Yeah, I'm moving through the woods, but it was a good thing that it was early when I was focused and looking.
It's funny because we were talking about that, and I just was reading a book called At Your Best or Be At Your Best.
Yeah.
And it talks about time management and just being productive, and just how there's basically like 3 to 5 hours a day where you're really energized and focused. And it varies from person to person on what times those are during the day. A lot of people, like for me, it's morning time.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the times that I'm the most engaged and focused on whatever it is I'm doing. And like we were saying, I was tracking a deer on Friday or Saturday. And once we hit about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, a couple times I had to snap myself back into mind gets kind of wandering about different things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That, and I've always done that, Paul. I've noticed it in my hunting over the years. You know, I many times in the afternoon when I'm tracking a deer or something, I'm going, well, yeah, the focus has gone out the window, and now I'm just pushing, and you know,
it's normal.
Yeah,
it's normal.
So then we bring in the technology, Paul, which the new iPhone.
Yeah.
So I sent you a text.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, I don't know what, maybe 50 miles west of Ashland. I send you a text, and I told you buck down, and you asked for the coordinates, and I'm going, oh boy. This is going to stretch.
I didn't expect to ever get them. I'm like, I'm going to have to just really try to.
This is really going to stretch my technological abilities here.
Remember where the shot was and head in that direction.
So I did. I was pretty proud of myself. I figured it out in a minute. I had to send you coordinates, and you marched straight to me.
Yeah,
you were there in 15 or 20 minutes. So
I was down in a huckus hole, as Joe Osgood would say. I'm walking through. It was so quiet down in there. Yeah. And we had a little skiff of snow that morning.
Yeah.
Everything was white, but it wasn't enough to track.
No.
But it was windy, but I was in like that mossy.
Yeah, quiet because everything was wet.
I've seen all kinds of deer sign. I'm like, man, I got a good feeling about this morning. And there's been one big buck in particular that's been going back and forth.
Yeah.
I'd found, I think I counted 8 rubs up on a knob. I mean, just polished the trees up.
Yeah. The
length of my rifle. And anyway, I'm down in there, and then I hear, we're the only ones around. I knew it was you. And I was headed right towards that rifle shot. So I hear, I'm like, oh, boys.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there listening. Then shortly thereafter, I hear another one.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's a good sign. But then there was a third one.
Yeah.
But it was spaced out, not like it was a running deer.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. So anyway, it's so thick cover. I'm like, he's going to be texting me here pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I find a spot that has like a little opening. I'm standing there trying to get a satellite. And I get a message from you. It says, buck down.
Yeah.
So then I'm going, he didn't say big buck. Was it a spike horn? He said he wasn't going to shoot a spike horn.
Yeah. And I actually thought of that when I saw the deer, because I just see antler and I'm going, And then when I fired, when he moved towards me and I could see the head and the front of the chest and stuff, I said, well, it's not a big deer. I could tell that right off. It was 8 points, 161 pounds.
Fat guy.
Yeah, it was, and I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied. You know, like I say, the fact that I stalked up to that, still stalked in there, and harvested the deer without him even knowing I was there. So that
it's funny because I was talking to you about it on the way up in that trip about calling.
Yeah.
And I just personally, I think people call way too much.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, because it's how my mind works. Like, I'm always looking at how can I stack the cards in my favor.
Yeah.
They've got house advantage, right?
Oh yeah.
They've got the deck stacked in their favor most of the time. But I'm always thinking, what things can I, try to hamstring the deer as much as possible? And for me, like, I like if you can get an opportunity when the deer doesn't know you're there. And I don't know, every time that I've called just randomly, the stinking things they're not stupid.
Yeah.
Use the wind. They turn around, get downwind of me and blow and go. So I feel like I'm kind of, hey, I'm over here.
Yeah.
You know, as I'm coming through the woods.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because that went through my mind because you in a few seconds you're playing scenarios in your mind. Okay, is he going to step the other direction away from me and I'll never see this deer again? Because that's happened.
Yeah.
That's happened. Or is he going to, you know, come to a place where I can get a better view of him and a better opportunity to. So do I use the call to try to lure him in? And I thought, no, because I'll give up my advantage of him not knowing I was there. And so I had 2 calls with me. I had a doe bleed, a can, and I had a grunt tube on my neck.
Yeah.
And I said, no, don't do that, Mark. So I waited. Yeah, you know, so when you're there, it seems like minutes, but it was probably maybe 30 seconds that he got into a position I could make a good shot on him and stuff. And
so for me, I'm always like, of course, I'm risk aversive.
Yeah.
Right. Risk benefit.
Yeah.
But the minute I always feel like, okay, they know I'm here. They heard me come.
Yeah.
Okay. Now if I call, I've already given up the.
Yeah.
If I call,
and he would have, or if I jumped right
like,
at me, and he would have not come any closer.
No. And if I remember you were tracking a buck and a doe one time, and you jumped them up, and they get into some thick stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, you called, and you come right back out, stuck his
head
head out.
He did. I made a decision. They went into a plantation of firs that was a rabbit hole. And, I thought, well, they know I'm here.
They didn't know what.
They didn't know what. And I thought, I stayed outside of it.
Yeah.
And I called, and he did. He came right out. He walked right out in the open, right in front of me.
Yeah.
And,
that's always been my favorite scenario.
Yeah.
For using a call. But I never, and I don't know. I just like, if I'm going through the woods, I don't want to be announcing,
right,
I'm coming.
Yeah, and like I say, that went through my head. When I saw him, I thought, do I call and try to draw him closer to me, or do I just wait it out? And I waited it out. Yeah. I decided not to. I didn't want to give up the advantage that I had. That he had no idea I was there. And that doesn't happen a lot because their advantage of eyesight as far as anything moving.
Oh yeah,
and
but it was a windy day that day.
It was a
lot
windy
of stuff
day,
going on.
and hearing is unreal. I mean, and smell was in the wind was coming off in him towards me, so I had that. I knew that right off. I said, well, he's not going to smell me, but And the good thing was after that, Paul, when we drove in that morning, we had kind of joked. We said, I bet there's deer that can hear us right here driving in.
You said it going right past that area, too.
Right in that area.
We were going by. Like, I bet you there's a deer up there that can hear us.
Yeah.
Well, there was.
And so I did my on-X distance, and it was 237.5 yards from the truck to where I harvested the deer. 237.5.
Yeah, just walked up in the woods and shot him.
Yeah.
Just like you planned it.
Yeah, we could go down that rabbit hole about, you think of, man, I was lucky and stuff. And then, but I'm not a guy that believes in luck.
Yeah.
Luck is proportionate to the effort we put into something.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it sound, cause I'm a moderate deer hunter at best. I've had moderate success. I'm not the Michael Jordan of deer hunting by any stretch of the imagination, but I've always worked hard at it.
Yeah.
And, you don't get lucky unless you jump over the slash pile and go for it, And
Lacey said there was one day we were out there and I got back to camp that night and got a text from her. She's like, I was thinking about you today. That seemed windy and cold.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons that you can find to stay home and not go out. There's a lot of,
because that particular spot we're hunting, we're traveling about an hour from camp.
We are.
So I'm getting up at 3:45.
Yeah.
And then booking her over.
And the competition's just about zero.
Yeah.
Paul.
Well,
so we drive.
No one's that numb.
We drive how many miles and you don't see another vehicle.
Yeah.
And in between, you don't see vehicles parked up, somebody out hunting this place or that place. It's barren.
Well, there's a lot of miles in between.
It is. Deer densities are still, even though they've gotten better, they're still not. Yeah. They're not good. You know, but it's the way we like to hunt.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So that just reminds me of, we were driving out of the woods. We see Saturday it warmed up. We had snow that morning. Some tracking snow. I'll get to that here in a quick minute. But we were driving out. It warmed up to mid-40s. We met a guy on a motorcycle coming by us.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking he wants to get one last ride in for the year.
Yeah.
And you go, boys, doesn't look like he's having very much fun.
No.
And I said to you, I'm like, well, if someone saw me out tracking a deer this morning, they think, boys, that guy doesn't look like he's having very much fun deer hunting.
Yeah.
But we call it fun.
Yeah.
It can be a little miserable at times.
It can be uncomfortable. It can be, as we talked about, painful sometimes.
You get your mind right.
Yeah. Yeah, you see a guy, Paul, we see a guy on a motorcycle, and we see we see a guy with a plow on the front.
Plow on. Only in northern Maine. Are you riding your bike? And
Yeah, get your plow on the front of your pickup.
So yeah, I'm walking to you, and I finally see the blaze orange hat. And I get up on a stump, and I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking, did he shoot a spike horn? And I get up on a log, and from a long ways away, I'm like, oh, I can see antler sticking up. So I was like, it's not a spike horn. But then we're laughing. We're sitting there. You'd ordered because last time we talked about, recommendations for a jet sled. And you ended up going with a Pelican.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the guys that I know let me borrow one a couple years ago, and I just texted him. And so what do you have? And it was a Pelican, something or other, size and whatnot. And
Trek 60, I think it was. The Pelican Trek 60, which is, it's like 57 and a half inches long and stuff. And
so it was going to be delivered Wednesday, I think, right?
Thursday.
The
day I shot the deer.
So we're sitting there. You're like, there's a brand new jet sled sitting on my deck right now.
And there was. Mom sent a picture of it.
Like, could have used that. It was downhill most of the way, though.
Oh, 237 yards, Paul. It was a piece of cake. Yeah.
There was one point I could get right in position, right in the middle, because I brought some stuff out to the truck.
Yeah.
And grabbed some other cameras and whatnot. And I got right smack dab in the middle, and I could see the cab of my pickup, and I could see the top of your orange hat.
Yeah.
I'm like, boys, he didn't get very far.
That terrain, like I say, was fairly open. They select cut it, but there was a lot of standing hardwood.
Yeah.
But underneath, I mean, there was a few blowdowns and tops and stuff, but it was pretty bare. Lots of raspberries and stuff. And like I say, I think those deer up there, they really, food is tough to come by up there.
It is.
It's to scratch out a living up there is really, really tough. And
especially when you're getting into this time of year.
Yeah, there were a lot of good raspberries and stuff, and I think he may have been feeding on those or the top of the blowdown. I'm not sure. So
Saturday morning, we finally get some snow.
Yep.
And it was raining. Turned to rain, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the morning.
Right in the middle of the night, we could hear it on the tent roof.
So we head out, and as in typical fashion, especially in the areas with low deer density, tough to find a deer track after just getting snow. So we do a big loop, and saw one nice buck track first thing that morning.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 minutes before legal light or whatever, but he was headed down into a swamp where there was no snow.
Right.
So it's like, well, he's going to walk out of the snow, because there was, even that morning, there was a big difference, and you get a few 100 feet up, 1,000 feet up. There was a lot more snow. You get down towards any body of water, and it was basically null and void. So we were coming back, and I wanted to check out a spot that went up on some mountains, and which I'd seen deer sign, and I haven't really spent much time there this year. So we started seeing some deer tracks going across the road, and then first I was like, it's not that big of a buck, but I'll follow it. I get maybe a couple hours. I'm like, I'm going to have to go quick, because we're going to lose.
Right, you're not going to have much time.
Snow. And he was going up onto a mountain.
Yeah.
I'm like, good, he's going in the right direction. Maybe I can have a little bit of fun with it. So I was like, I won't be long. And so I take off on him, and about the first 15 minutes into it, his cadence changed. He was just really slowly walking. And I was like, this is a pretty good buck.
Yeah.
You got him a big toe dragger.
Yeah.
And And I was laughing. I'm like, looks like he's a fat old woman with big hips.
Yeah.
Kind of spaced apart.
Careful
there.
now.
Yeah. And so I was having fun, but I'm like, man, I'm going to have to book her because we're losing snow quick. And
yeah.
He was going through some phenomenal country. I mean, everywhere I was, I had 50 yards, 60 yards, 70 yards. And it was actually phenomenal walking. Something I'm usually not used to. He was going nowhere as fast either. He'd get into the tops of some trees and feed around. And he'd go down another ravine on another ridge. There was some mixed growth up on the knobs. And pretty soon he hooks around this mountain. And he's heading towards where we saw, looked like a couple doe tracks
going across the road, yeah.
I'm like, oh, good. Maybe we'll get into some other deer and I can catch them. Started feeling pretty good about it. So we're moving right along, and we cross an old road that you can't drive. And I could see some off to my left. We hook up around, and I see some deer tracks running down. And I'm like, that must be a different deer. Didn't really look like his, but everything's melting out pretty fast. I'm like, well, I'll see where he goes here, and then we'll see if that's his coming back or not. I didn't jump him. So we come to another top of a tree, and I can see where he fed around. And then I see where he made like a haphazard scrape. And then I see his tracks taking off. And he did. He come right back down where I was tracking him. And I look over and there's coyote tracks running. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So coyote started chasing him. And of course, he runs right down towards the pond. Ran right out of the snow.
Yeah.
And I was like, son of a gun. So then it got really hard. We started getting into spotty areas of snow, and when he was running, there was so much space in between bounds. I was spending too much time trying to figure out. I was like, I'm not going to catch up to him at this point.
Yeah.
Coyote chasing him, and I'm
and the snow was
time.
Gone by pretty much noontime. It was
by the time I called
gone.
her quits, they're pretty well.
Yeah,
she was gone. So it was fun though. I had a fun.
You could
track him
you
longer.
Never know.
No, I tracked him longer than I thought I was going to be able to.
Exactly. You never know.
Snow stuck around longer.
You just have to go for it, and sometimes you go 20 minutes and you catch the deer and kill it, and sometimes it's just you.
Would have been
eventually
great.
You'll hit the one that
yeah. That was the first ability to track this year.
Right.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
So I get back out to the road and I look and I'm on the road. It was about 2.5 miles from the truck.
I bet you were wishing I was at the truck.
So I didn't actually was going to text you. I'm like, I can hoof her back. I'll get there in no time. But I'm like, you know what? Dad's sitting at the truck. I'll send him a text.
Yeah.
Tell him I'm on this side of the truck heading your way. So I do, and I'm hoofing her right along. Pretty soon there's a cab in my truck. I'm like, well, he must not have got the text. I open the door to the truck and there's a note on my seat. Walking back towards the tent, pick me up on the way by. Something to that extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I hop in the truck and I'm driving down the road. And I didn't make note of what my mileage was when I left.
Yeah.
But I got to what I thought when I thought of it. I was like, I must be about a mile down the road. So I looked. Pretty soon I'm like, well, I'm 5 miles down the road and I still see Dad's tracks going down the...
I didn't expect it to be that long, Paul. I didn't expect you. I expected the snow to disappear in a couple hours or whatever, and you would pick me up. And
I come around the corner. You were just about back at the tent.
Yeah.
What was it?
5.8 miles. Yeah. 15,000 steps, I think, or something like that. I was sitting there that morning, and I thought, well, I don't want to. I grabbed my pack and I grabbed my shotgun, and I thought, you know what? He's got it. There was only one way, You're going to drive by me. There's only one road. Yeah. So I thought, I'll get my steps in this morning, be a little productive or whatever. And about the last couple miles, I'm going, man, I didn't expect it to be this long.
Where the heck
stuff.
is he?
Yeah. I was sitting at a little campground there having a power bar.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be that long.
Yeah.
I thought a couple hours.
Because
I think it was about 8 o'clock in the morning when I get on it.
I kept listening for the truck to pull up behind me, and it wasn't happening. I thought, I'm going to end up walking clear back to the tent. Yeah. That's a long trek from where I started. But, yeah,
he kept going uphill.
Yeah.
Plenty of snow.
Yeah.
I was like, fantastic. We'll go as long as I can.
Right. That's all you can do. Go until
and
you
can't. He was in areas, he stayed out of the thick softwoods.
Yeah.
So even if there's spots when he was walking with no snow, you could see his tracks in the leaves, no problem. So it was piece of cake to stay with him until he started running down into the thick stuff along the edge of a pond. That was game over. So I was like, if I see any coyotes, I'm going to smoke
those
them.
coyotes, I saw the tracks all over the road.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
While I was walking back to
quite a few.
the tent, I see their tracks there.
So, great week.
Yeah, so anytime one of us can be successful is a fantastic week.
You didn't waste any time again this year.
No, I had that conversation with a gentleman at the tagging station. I said, well, you and I, the bitter part about that is it's a long way until next deer season.
It is.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
So, I had talked, and the guy I was talking to, I wish I could remember his first name, Paul, but he was Copperthwaite, and he was originally from New Jersey, and he's working for Irving, and as a forester. He works with Ed Doobie. We had talked about Ed. Okay. He asked me if I knew Ed, and I said, yeah, I do. We'd talked to Ed a few times in the woods. And he said, and he's been very successful deer hunting. And he told me, he said, I'm in the woods all the time. He says, I get to see what's there. And I said, you're absolutely right. There's no greater advantage than to spend time, He says, I get to see the sign. He said, the rubs, the scrapes, I know where to hunt.
And any of the woods workers.
Yeah.
They spend 5 days a week there.
Yeah, but this guy is different than the woods workers in that he's cruising and stuff, and he's in the woods, and he, like he says, I've always got an eye on. Yeah. And I said, that you are absolutely correct. There is no greater advantage than to know what's there, where to go. I mean, we have to figure that out in a few weeks or on the fly while we're hunting. Yeah. We have to try to figure that out. And but he's there, so he may be hunting, he goes to a lot of different, he was telling me some of the places that he shot deer, and they're a long way apart. Yeah,
and I think people think I'm being kind of secretive or whatever when they'll ask me where I hunt, what zone.
Yeah.
And I rattle off like 5 zones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know it doesn't really give you much idea, but that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of space in between.
Yeah. Because where you track the deer yesterday is not where we ever intended on hunting.
No.
It's just where we ended up.
Yeah. That's been in the back of my mind, and I'm like, we've got snow. Yeah. That's higher.
It was a long way from where we intended on hunting, but we get down into where we wanted to go, and then we didn't see any fresh sign in the snow. So let's go look.
And plus, it was lower elevation. It was losing snow quicker.
It was, yeah.
So I was like, Plan B.
So another question I had for Mr. Copperthwaite was what he was seeing for partridge, because we're not seeing anything for birds up in the woods.
No.
I mean, it is like barren.
Yeah.
And he said the same thing. He said, I don't see any. He said, I might get a couple flushes in a day or whatever, He says, he says, it's a really down year. And
we had some good days early on.
Yeah, there would, but boy, we're not seeing anything, Paul. And we're traveling a lot of miles and
every day.
Covering a lot of country.
Yeah.
And we see a bird or two, but not many.
No.
So, and he
echoed that.
He echoed that. He said the same thing, and I'm going to go with this. This man spends time in the woods, and he knows what's there. He knows what's there. He's a guy that you can spend time in the woods and not really pay attention, but he's paying attention to the wildlife part of it too. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll do it again this week.
Yeah.
Maybe harvest another one. Could be some snow in the forecast. We'll see how it shakes out.
I was checking the weather this morning up in the woods, Paul. They were saying 1 to 3. In fact, there's a winter advisory on the Weather Channel and stuff.
So looking forward to. Man, I'd like just a good couple days of snow.
Yeah.
Get a good handle on
what's going
on, and especially when I was like tracking that deer Saturday morning. I'm like, the greatest thing ever is I'm just gonna learn a bunch of what's going on around here, whether I get close to the deer or not. If I can spend 2 or 3 hours tracking them, I'm getting a good idea into some country that you would never get into otherwise.
Yeah,
a lot of country in between roads.
Yeah,
in those areas that you're just not gonna go
randomly
walking through.
Just don't have the time, Paul.
No, you could do it till you're blue in the face.
You could waste so much time. You don't have the time to waste. You gotta, you have so many days to hunt, and you want to be hunting where there's some deer.
So following a buck's a great way to. One, you get a buck in front of you that, well, I could have a chance at him. Two, he's probably going to bring me into more deer.
Which they, for sure.
We'll get an idea of what's hanging out where.
Because we're pretty sure the deer that I harvested isn't probably the deer that was laying down some of the sign that we were seeing. There's probably a better buck in there.
I come up on a rub. I got up on a knoll, and I step out onto an old skid trail on top of it. It was a great little knob that was all like hardwoods on top. And there's like a shelf of mixed growth. Yeah. And all around that edge, there were some skid trails, old skid trails. And like the first one I come out on, I look down, I'm like, I think that's a rub down there. Yeah. Walk down, I'm like, yeah, that's a nice rub. From that one, I look down, I'm like, another rub right there. Yeah. So I walk down, and I kept doing this down the skid trail. Then I get to a corner, and I could see a couple rubs, and then I see a tree. I showed you a picture of it. It's like the length of my gun. This buck had rubbed this tree there wasn't a piece of bark for about 4 feet. Yeah. 3.5, 4 feet on this tree. I'm like, he spent some time here just high, went super high and all the way down to the ground. Yeah. I'm like, gee.
Yeah. Yeah. Where I took that buck this year, there was last year's rub within sight of it there, a rub from last year and stuff. Yeah.
Scrapes everywhere. Yeah. There was, So it was a good place to spend a little bit of time. Well, good deal. I got a lot of stuff to do. You got a deer to take care of.
Yeah, I got some work to do before we venture back up.
You going back up with me tonight, or
I'm going to try to, Paul. Right. I'll see if I can get my stuff taken care of. Like I say, I got to get the deer. Find some place for the deer to be
cut up.
So
all right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do it again next week. Hopefully, we'll have
another story to tell.
Another story. Yeah. Something interesting. They're always can't help but not have a story. Spend some time in the woods.
Yeah.
So, alrighty then. So I guess until next time, get outside.
It's good for the soul.
See ya.